Welcome to Indian History Shorts. Helicopters are the airborne cavalry. Their ability to operate in any terrain makes them the most flexible machine of modern warfare. The operational diversities of the Indian military, coupled with the variety of terrain on Indian borders, from the baking sand dunes of Thar Desert to the cold peaks of Himalayas, underline the need for state-of-the-art, multi-role helicopters capable of operating anywhere, anytime. Today, in 1954, the first helicopter of the Indian Air Force, Sikorsky S-55, was launched in Delhi. They were acquired from United States. Along with it, Air Force also acquired a few Bell 47Gs in the 1950s. Both helicopters were transport vehicles. In the 1960s, tensions increased between India and China over the Himalayan frontier. This revealed a need for further increase in air transport capability of the Indian Air Force and medium helicopters suitable for high altitude operations. The Soviet Union had become India's primary defense partner by then. Orders were placed for 10 Mi-4 helicopters. The Mi-4 helicopter was to have a profound effect on Indian Air Force's capability. Its acquisition kick-started the expansion of the IAF rotorcraft inventory. Indian Air Force's rotorcraft inventory. Successive orders in 1962, 64 and 1966 brought the total number of Mi-4s procured to 120. They were part of helicopter units formed in northeast India. The real test of Indian Air Force's airlift capability came in October 1962, when open warfare erupted on the Indo-China border. The pressure on helicopter units was intense. Troops and supplies had to be flown to the support of the border posts virtually around the clock and at extreme altitude. The helicopters had to constantly fly over Chinese small arms and anti-aircraft fire to tricky helipads in the mountains. In the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, helicopters played a decisive role. In Bangladesh, the landscape is crisscrossed by hundreds of rivers and tributaries. To delay Indian forces, Pakistani army destroyed multiple bridges. Indian soldiers were transported by helicopters across rivers. At the Battle of Sylhet and Meghna Bridge operation, Mi-4 helicopters successfully dropped hundreds of soldiers behind enemy lines. The Himalayan frontier remained in need of helicopter support. In 1987, during another standoff with China, Indian Air Force in Operation Checkerboard displayed its advanced airlift capability by moving large number of troops with M26 helicopters to Indo-China border in northeast India. The Indian forces in a preemptive move occupied the Hathungla Ridge overlooking the Namkachu River. M26 helicopter were another import from the Soviet Union. In 1980s, India pushed for indigenous development and production of military helicopters. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the forefront of aircraft manufacturing in India, took the lead. The Advanced Light Helicopter program was initiated. The helicopter Dhruv was developed under the program in collaboration with a German firm, and the prototype flew in 1992. Under a licensing arrangement between Aerospatial, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited began manufacturing the Alute-3 and SA-315B Lama, known in India as Hal Chetak and Cheetah respectively. Indian Air Force Cheetahs were instrumental in carrying out frontline roles during the Kargil War, providing a platform for the airborne forward air controller, guiding other attack aircrafts against ground targets. In the 1990s, the imported Soviet helicopters were beginning to wear down. During the Kargil War, Mi-35 attack helicopters were found to be incapable of operating at high altitude, which prompted the use of armed and modified Mi-17s for the role. Purchased only in late 1984, the Indian Air Force's Mi-35s have seen a surprising amount of action. They were extensively used in peacekeeping operations in Sri Lanka by the Indian Peacekeeping Force. It is believed that Indian losses were considerably reduced by the heavy fire support from Mi-35s. It was during the Kargil War that the Indian Armed Forces realized that they lacked a combat helicopter capable of operating efficiently against targets at high altitude. This experience inspired Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to develop a platform to address this deficiency in combat air power. Rudra, the first Indian attack helicopter, was developed based on the successful design of HAL Dhruv. The most seasoned attack helicopter in the world, Boeing AH-64E, better known as Apache, was also inducted to replace the aging fleet of Mi-35s. The successful design of Dhruv also led to development of Light Combat Helicopter Prachand. It is a multi-role attack helicopter. Globally, it has the lowest weight and has the highest operational flight ceiling. Prachand is the only attack helicopter in the world that can land and take off at an altitude of 5,000 meters, which makes it ideal to operate in the Himalayan frontier. The development of Prachand is an important milestone. India's capability in defense manufacturing is finally catching up with that of more advanced countries. A well-developed indigenous weapons industry is mark of a self-sufficient, powerful nation. Indian Armed Forces are looking to induct as many as 1,000 helicopters in the coming decade, ranging from attack and high-altitude reconnaissance to medium and heavy transport. Thank you for watching this.